Hey everybody, and welcome to this Q&A for 200 subscribers special. Bit past that now, 210 but which I'm very happy and thankful for. So thank you very much so far. You know, it's been great adventure since I joined the community of FM. I was on 133 subs, and it was about March time, April time, I can't remember exactly. So since then, you know, I've come on kind of leaps and bounds. I've added myself into the videos, the camera. You know, I've done a few little silly things like my montage thing that I did after completing 10 years at Football Manager. You should check that out, it's a great laugh. So yeah, met some good friends as well, and I'm very happy for that. So, to kick off this not very much anticipated Q&A, we've got a couple of questions, well, got about 10 questions or so, not too many for you all to endure. Billy Bum's going to start us off with his first question, which is, how does it feel to be finally growing in subscriber count after so much time and videos of not much growth at all? To be honest with you, Billy, it's absolutely awesome, and but at the same time it's a shame, because originally when I started these videos, recording videos, I wanted to do a large different amount of games, you know, old and new, where you know, people could reminisce over old games, and people could think, oh, look at this cool little retro game here, that looks quite good, and I was hoping that I could be entertaining at the same time. It was obviously awkward to get seen, especially when I didn't use Twitter or anything, which has helped massively. It just helped that you get a couple of people who like to push your videos. In particular, Boody's always pushing everything for us, and you know, I can't thank him enough for all his support since he's come on the scene. And yeah, that's about it really. It's awesome that we seem to be going in the right direction a little bit quicker. You know, ideally it's, you know, I'd like to, long and short, ideally I'd like to happen with other games as well, but Football Manager, I must admit, is probably the one game that I've got the most, I like to think, knowledge of anyway, apart from a couple of older games which no one really plays anymore. So we're going to move on to the next question, which is again from Billy Bum. GWFM. Well, it's definitely the case of when, but my question would be, did you ever think that your channel would grow to the amount and the amounts that it has, and it will reach, considering that you were still below 100 subs even after 1,000 videos? And there's, you know, point and case there. I was on 1,000 videos and I was on 133 subs, but like I said, a lot of them were, you know, little games that people probably weren't that interested in. Maybe I was doing them too late. See, a lot of people like to get the games brand new or whatever, and then they do like videos on them straight away. I honestly cannot afford, or could not afford, probably still can't really, to just buy games outright when they're like 40 quid and start playing them. It's just not within my personal budget, especially with owning his own house and stuff. You know, it's not as straightforward as what it used to be, especially, you know, when I was living at home with my parents, and I was still saving up for buying this place, so it's always been quite hard from the moment, and my one regret, if anything, would be not doing it earlier, starting it earlier, because, you know, imagine where we could have been now. So hopefully that's helped you there. But yes, it's been frustrating, the amount of videos I've released, and I've not really had many subs from it, but I'm hoping that's going to turn around now. That's why I'm trying to involve like RimWorld and stuff to try and keep some of the original subscribers, like, not happy as such, but try and give them something at the same time, because obviously I've gone very much full FM mode, it seems. Obviously it's still awkward trying to find time to edit and stuff like that, as well as record. Like, it's taken us ages to find the time to record this, so there we go. Now we're going to move on to the next question, which is from Fry Badger, my good mate. Always happy to help, matey. Thank you very much, Andy. For a question, I would like to ask, how old were I when I first started to support Leeds, or something like that anyway. It says when you started to support Leeds. We'll start with that one first, because there's another question straight after. Apologies, I've literally just rushed in from work after calling at the shop, which you don't really need to know, but anyway. I was 6 or 7, it was like 1991 season. I think it was a season prior to us winning the league, which I believe we won the old Division 2 to get into the old Division 1, which was the season before we become the Premier League champions. Old Division 1, you mean? Like the players such as Gary Speed and David Batty when they first came along, that really got me into Leeds United. They were massive players back then, and I still, you know, obviously Speed obviously tragic affair when he decided to kill himself, which was a massive shame. But yeah, him and David Batty were ones that really inspired me to start supporting Leeds, really. As well as obviously my dad, he was a big supporter. He's not so much these days. He gets frustrated and thinks he jinxes them every time he watches. So yeah, there is that. And then his second question from Fry Badger is, who's your favourite Leeds player of all time? Now again, it could have been Speed, it could have been Batty. I was gutted when they both left, but for me it has to be, and I'm tempted to read the next couple of questions too, because they kind of tie in with this, and I will do actually. I'll go straight to Just Mike Plays, which it says massive congratulations, thank you very much, Mike. What is the best Leeds game you have ever seen? Who is your favourite Leeds player of all time? Now it's more the who is your favourite Leeds player of all time part, because it's both the same, and it's Tony Yeboah. It was a toss-up. I might have gone Harry Kewell, but after what he did, the way that he left the club to go to Liverpool was absolutely scandalous and nothing short of robbery. 5 million went to Liverpool, 3 million of that went to the agent. We got £2 million for arguably it was definitely our best player by far, easily worth at the time for me about 15 million. We let him go for 2 million. But it was when we started to have a few little money problems, so that's probably something to do with it. So yeah, for Fry Badger and Mike, that's his second question. Probably Tony Yeboah. I'll show you why now as I'm speaking. Yeah, goals like this, I did two, one after the other. This was the first one, which it didn't even reach the top. I think the top 5 goals of Premier League history. I think the one against Wimbledon, which I thought was not quite as good. Yes, he takes on a couple of players, but look at this one here, and he hits it on the volley and smashes it in off the bar. And I always remember watching this game at home, and John Lukic, I remember right at the beginning of the video, I remember he kicks it long, and I just remember it showed the replays and the ball struck towards goal, and I just remember seeing all the fans going up before it's even hit the net, and it's like hit the bar and gone down, hit the bar again and gone in. Oh, what an awesome feeling was that goal, and that was absolutely class. So moving on to Mike's other question, what is the best Leeds game I have ever seen? It's hard to say this one because I wish I could have seen. I did used to listen to a lot of games on the radio, and probably the best game I've ever heard was the Liverpool 4-3 win against them at Ellen Road, when we went 2-0 down, then 3-1 down and came back to win 4-3. Or I should say Viduka won 4-3. That was a fantastic game, was that. But otherwise, I'm trying to think now. To be honest with you, probably the best Leeds game I've actually witnessed personally, when I've actually watched it even on the TV or at the ground. Believe it or not, which it sounds like a bit of a cop-out because of who it's against, but it's just because I'd never had so much nerves, apart from in the same season. Later on, I'll get onto that shortly. The Man United game in the FA Cup, because we were League One, we were shite. Well, we're trying to get back into Championship, but no one ever gave us a chance. We've not won it at Old Trafford for about 32 years, I think it was in the end, I think. And yeah, we went there, and I remember Johnny Howson, another player, was absolutely gutted about losing, hitting a long ball over the top. Horrendous Wes Brown, who was absolutely turd, getting done by Jermaine Beckford for pace, and then he scuffs his shot, the worst effort you're ever going to see, and it went underneath, I believe it was Thomas Kuszak, in goal. And people might say, oh, it was a weakened team. There was likes of Shrek when it was actually decent. I'm pretty sure Ronaldo played as well, I want to say, at some point. They might come on as a sub, but even so, they were still a strong side. And we had like say Luciano Becchio. We had Jason Crowe, if you remember, if anyone remembers him, at right back. I mean, that was just comical really. But we had a lot of hard workers in that team that season. So that's probably the best game that I've witnessed, whether it be on TV or live. The best goal I've seen live is a goal. It was when Leeds were, I think they qualified for the Champions League that season, and I remember it was my 16th birthday. It's showing my age now. It's going back to 99-2000 season, and we got tickets just on the day. We just thought, oh, what should we do for his birthday? Because it was my dad's birthday day before, so he's a Leeds fan. So we just thought we'll go to the Leeds game. Why not? They've got Southampton at home, so we ended up being sat like kind of near each other, but not next to each other at all, like 4 separate rows. And I just remember I was sat right at back, but I was dead in line with the Southampton goal, and it was last minute, and we were drawing 0-0. It was a pretty boring game, to be fair, but Michael Bridges just smacked this volley out of nowhere, and it just went in top corner last minute, and that was probably the best live goal that I've seen where I've actually been at the ground. That I've seen anyway. I've seen a few goals over the time in the European nights and stuff like that. Been to a couple of games in more recent history where we've not been as good. Most notably Blackburn Rovers last season. That was absolutely dire. But it is what it is. So moving on to Hunkus Martin's question, which is a very good question because I don't know anymore. It was Lewis Cook and now he's gone to Bournemouth. So I would probably have to say at this moment in time, even though he wasn't that great last season, I'd probably have to say Alex Mowat. He's got something about him where he can get a goal out of nothing, whether it be long range or whatever. He's got a great shot in him. He's not the quickest, but I just think he's got that bit of magic that sometimes you need in games. Unfortunately, he had a poor season last season. A lot of Leeds fans have been getting on his back. So, and obviously people say, oh, it shouldn't affect him, they're a professional footballer, but I'm pretty sure it does. If someone came into your workplace and said, you're doing shite at your job, you're crap, you should be getting sacked, it'd get you back up, wouldn't it, really? That's the way you've got to look at it. So, yeah, probably for Leeds, Alex Mowat. But always been a fan of other players as well in other teams, but if I'm going to pick one at the minute, it's got to be a Leeds player, hasn't it? Right, Buddha Fem has got a couple of questions, and the first one is, what has been the greatest moment I have ever experienced being a Leeds fan, either at the game or just a moment? To be honest with you, it kind of ties in with the Man United result in the FA Cup, because I think it was the same season. It was when we finally got back into the Championship from League One, because that was the most pain-enduring experience ever, being in League One, going to teams like chuffing, no disrespect, but Tranmere and Southend, who look at, maybe not Southend as bad now, but Tranmere are now into Vanarama National League. No disrespect to them, and there's probably teams even less than that, like, I seem to remember Leyton Orient and teams like that coming up and drawing with us with 10 men, even though we were 2-0 up. What's that all about? It's just because every single team just seems to raise the game for Leeds United. They always do, they always have, they always will. Just because of who we are, and we always seem to find it hard. That's why Leeds always seem to be alright in games where they're the underdog, hence like the Man United result in the past. I'm sure we've beaten Premier League opposition in FA Cups. You've seen us get to like 5th round many a time. I think recently, I think 3 of the last 4 seasons we've got to the 5th round or something like that. I'm not entirely sure whether that's 100% true, but I'm pretty sure we did quite well. But that's because we seem to suit the underdog tag. I don't know what it is, but that's what it seems to be. But I would probably say, that game against Bristol Rovers, we went down to 10 men, and we were 1-0 down. Max Grado got sent off for stamping on some schmuck who made a meal of it, like they always do. But stamping's wrong, so it's fair enough. But, I remember Beckford coming on just before he got his big money move to Everton. Scored an equaliser, and then Johnny Howson, the man, the myth, the legend, came on off the bench and just scored not a worldie, but outside area, 25-yard curler to top right corner. And final was, oh god, the last 10 minutes or so they were trying to get an equaliser. I mean, they had not to play for the Bristol Rovers as far as I remember. Sure they were mid-table, like 10th or something, and they were trying to score, and my arsehole were going like that. Well, sorry, like that. You know what I mean, 50 pence, 5 pence, 50 pence, 5 pence, whatever you want to call it. And when that final whistle finally went, God, the amount of relief, and you could see it all over the fans' faces on Sky Sports, Soccer Saturday, whatever it was. It was just so much relief, and I would have loved to have gone, to be fair, but it's a case of, again, a money factor, because it is an expensive do at Leeds. If you're not aware, they're like, I think something like the 7th most expensive. I'm just I might be making that up, but I know at one point we were like in the top 10 definitely most expensive places to go on a Saturday for a game of football. When you compare, like, the only teams above us are like Arsenal, Spurs, Man U, Chelsea, the usual top teams. 2 more questions to go. Blue Disasters, would I wear a Man United shirt in a YouTube video saying "Glory, glory, Man United, United are the team for me," or whatever those lyrics are, for £1 million? Of course I would, because it's £1 million and I don't have to wear it once. You know, I've got a mate who's a massive Leeds fan, hates Huddersfield Town, works with someone there who's a Town fan, and whoever wins, the other has to wear the top for the day, the opposition's top for the day. And he did it last season. I'd be happy to do that anyway, regardless of the £1 million, if it was a case of who won on the day. So that doesn't bother me at all. Not to say that it makes me less of a Leeds fan, it's just because it's £1 million at the end of the day. But you know, if it's a bit of banter and it means because you've lost out on a bet or something, it's fair enough, innit? And then lastly, Loki Doki, what is the name of your washing machine? It has been in so many videos, I think it needs a name. And it's there now, I can see it now. I know you're looking, it looks like I'm looking completely opposite direction, but I can see it in my recording screen now, complete with some washed up pots above it. And yeah, it is. I could do a green screen really, couldn't I? Or something like that. Or just to move where this is, but it's perfect fit for what my desk is and whatever, but it's going to be hard to shift, convinced to shift, should I say. But yeah, I think, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a joke to do with like washing the piss out of the knickers or something like that. You know the joke. Why was the washing machine laughing? Because it was taking the piss out of the knickers. But I'm here all week. But yeah, I don't know, probably, I'm going to call it by the name of its make, but I can't remember what make it is. Probably just Waldo or something like that, I don't know. Wallace the washing machine. Wallace, I think it's probably better. Wallace the washing machine. How was that for you, Loki? So yeah, that brings us to the end of this Q&A. Thank you everyone who submitted questions for us. Sorry it's taken so long to do. It's finding the time to not only edit but also record. I'd everything else was already edited before I actually started to record. I've just got to move them into position now for where I think I need them. So yeah, as always, thanks for joining us. Don't forget that I'm on Twitter, and occasionally I'm going to be on Twitch. Might be something in the pipeline, not so distant future. I'm not going to give too much away because I don't really know when it's going to start, this idea that I've got, but we'll leave you hanging on that. So yeah, don't forget, obviously, join us for the non-league adventure series and the current RimWorld one that I'm trying to do as well at the same time, to have a little bit of a twist, having all the FM community guys involved as well, which if you are watching that, don't forget to check out the channels of the guys who are involved in that, because they're all very good. Just trust us on that, they are. So that's going to be it. Hopefully you enjoyed, and until next time, I'll see you then. Bye bye.